and it's cool if I call you Anas. Anas is the preferred term.
Come on, we go way back now. So.
Bro, I'm
It's
stuck
alright.
in OSCE mode. I've literally got the book here. All right. Okay. Recording. All right. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's do it. What is up, guys? Nasir here, and welcome to the KharmaKast, podcast where I just kick back, chill out, and have a relaxed conversation with creators I admire. Today we're joined by Anas Noor Ali, a recently graduated junior doctor working in London. He's probably the most chilled out person on the internet, an insane photographer, and has been pushing me to make more and more cinematic vlogs with his flawlessly edited videos. Anas, welcome to the KharmaKast.
No, thanks for having me, man. What an intro.
Did you like it?
I didn't expect that. Yeah, no, it was alright. Threw in a bit of photography, cinematography, and all that. Yeah.
A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything that's inspired that you've done that's inspired me, and like why I want to have you on the podcast.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, absolute pleasure. So for anyone listening or watching this video on YouTube who doesn't know who you are or hasn't come across your channel, give us a bit of a background about yourself.
Yeah, all right. So so my name's Anas. It's literally the same intro as my videos. Anyway, my name is Anas. I'm a junior doctor working in the UK. I make videos on YouTube sometimes. On like productivity, I used to do videos when I was a medical student, and now it's just kind of this transition phase where I've now become a doctor and I'm making videos about all types of stuff that I'm interested in. So that's me in like a short summary.
The short summary, fair enough. You said a big statement, man. You said now I'm a doctor. That's mad. You graduated. You finished.
I know, bro. To be honest, the initial few months, it sounded so weird to even say that. It's because like you work for it for so long. It's like, well, am I really here? It's, I'm glad now that it's like, it's come to that, and now it's like a whole new journey. And a new kind of adventure. That's what it kind of feels like.
Yeah.
Like, are you excited about that kind of being able to say that sometime?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I've been in school forever. I did a 4-year undergraduate degree and now a 5-year medical school degree. I'm definitely ready to start working.
I did something similar, isn't it? So I remember because we met a couple of years ago. When we initially both started our channels.
Tell me a bit more about that.
Oh man, the good old days.
The good old days, pre-COVID.
Before COVID. I remember you mentioned that you did another degree beforehand. I did something similar, and like in some senses we've kind of done similar things when it comes to academics. So I did the undergrad degree, and then took kind of a weird path into medicine, and then so it's been kind of a whole lot of stuff. It's
been a long journey. And I remember when we met, we bonded over the fact that we're both like have quite an international background. I remember I thought I was from all over the place, and then I talked to you, and you were like one step further. So break it down for me, and give it to me.
I remember that actually. I remember, and we spoke Arabic for a bit, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We'll have to do that in a little bit.
I mean, in a nutshell, it gets quite simple because essentially my background is just my parents are Eritrean, so that's the heritage. But then I've moved around a bit, like around the world, and now my parents have lived in different parts of the world as well. So I grew up in Sweden, and that's where I was born, and then I lived there until I was 14, and then I moved to the UK. So I learned Swedish there. So I'm kind of in terms of citizenship. I'm Swedish, and I came here, and then I stayed here for a while up until now, and then my dad grew up in Egypt as well, so a bit of an international vibe out here.
A very international vibe.
Yeah.
You speak, was it 6 languages, if I remember correctly?
That video, I made a video about that a while back.
I'm very familiar with that video, yeah. I've got it on my screen.
I can't lie, bro. I can't lie, it was a bit of a stretch, you know. I know quite a few people realized as well the ending. So I mean, it's a claim 6 languages.
Yeah.
Four of which like I speak quite well.
Uh-huh.
So Arabic, Swedish, English,
Yeah.
and the Eritrean language, which is called Tigrinya.
Mm-hmm.
So I speak those quite well, and then there was some. So and then we threw in the Spanish there a bit.
Yeah.
So that came from school, and everyone claims to speak Spanish. I made the same claim up until today. I don't know. Do you speak anything else, like in terms of languages you've spoken at school or learned?
Yeah, I mean, I studied Spanish for 2 years in high school, and then another 2 years at university. And hand on my heart, I remember so little of my Spanish. And I honestly don't think I could hold even a basic conversation. If you don't use it frequently, if you don't keep it up, it starts to slip away.
Yeah, for sure. I found the same thing with even kind of the languages that I find that are a bit easier for me, like Arabic or even the Swedish. It kind of slips away because I don't use it that much.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. I mean, it's a shame though, I feel. Because we spend so much time in school learning it, and then it kind of just slips.
Even with my Greek, because I lived in Greece for 18 years.
Yeah.
I've never done a Greek lesson. I never had any formal teaching. But by the end of my 18 years, I had asked my friends so many times, what does this word mean? What does that word mean? And, you know, I was surrounded by Greek left and right, that I understood it very, very well. I wouldn't say perfectly, but I don't want to go that far. But I understood it very, very well. I could speak a pretty decent amount. You know, I could get by no problem. And now as the years pass by and I use my Greek less, I travel back to Greece less, it's slipping away from me. It's a difficult thing to acknowledge and like let go of.
I know. I mean, dude, I would say, man, don't let it go at all, because it's
true.
I find, I mean, languages is something I'm super interested in, but I haven't been able to kind of fully pursue. The time just hasn't been there. But I feel like, you know, you can connect with people on a completely different level.
So
you know,
true.
once you have some appreciation for the language that someone speaks, then suddenly intertwined within that comes, you know, the culture, the norms of the people, and even the other person feels a lot more connected to you as well, because they feel like you've kind of made an effort. So
it's that instant rapport.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like, you know, each language you speak just becomes like another person that's within you. It's almost like you've got other people within one person, kind of thing. I don't know if that's something you found.
That's well said. I've heard people say similar things because they think in different languages than they speak.
Yeah.
So a lot of my Greek friends will think only in Greek, but all their voice and their verbal is in English. And I've always found that kind of strange. And they, within themselves, have this sort of split in their identity and in who they are, and a lot like that.
So, say for example, like, say if you're speaking Greek, it's an interesting question actually. I've spoken with someone else about this.
Okay.
So, say you're speaking, say between English, Greek, and I know you speak a bit of Arabic. Would you say that you're okay? So with the Arabic as well. So let's bring all three in. So do you feel like there are any changes in the way you speak between the different languages in terms of how you use them, or your voice, or even tiny changes in personality? What do you think?
Definitely. With Greek, for example, like Greeks as a people and as a culture are so laid back, they're so chilled, they're very jokey. And so when I speak Greek, I sort of enter that personality and I enter that vibe.
Yeah.
Whereas with Arabic, the only times I ever speak Arabic are with my family, so with my mom and my dad. And I speak to them in a lot more of a formal way than I would speak English or Greek. Yeah. And so, it definitely plays into the personality. That's an interesting point.
Yeah, dude, that's so interesting, man. I thought I actually had that discussion. I was driving with a friend, and we were talking about, so my friend speaks Urdu, so he's Pakistani, and then I'm Eritrean, so we started talking about it, and he mentioned similar things, that sometimes, you know, even like, you know, the use of different slang in different languages, and some languages you kind of you have a more of a formal side, and another just because kind of the experiences you've had So yeah, that's super interesting. You mentioned that.
Anas, this is gonna sound weird, but I have to tell you, I love your voice. Like, your tone is so soothing, and the slang words that you use is just so inviting, and it makes me feel like connected and have a rapport with you so instantly.
Dude.
Is this actually how you talk? Like, is this your stable voice?
Do you know what? I've heard that a few times. I don't know though. Like when I look at it from like an outside perspective, honestly I don't feel like it.
Oh man, your voice is special.
But no, I appreciate you saying that.
I know I'm not alone, because I know a lot of the comments on your videos as well are commenting on your voice. So yeah.
Bro, my voice, trust me, if you hear me sing, bro, it's terrible.
Hey, nobody has to know that, you know? Only you listen to your singing voice.
Exactly. It stays in the shower.
It stays in the shower, yeah. Exactly.
That's it.
I've seen you recently in your Instagram stories, and you just mentioned now that you were driving. And I know prior to driving, in a lot of your videos and your Instagram stories, you would post yourself on a boosted board, flying around London left and right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, man, how's that experience? I've wanted one for a while, but yeah, tell me.
Bro, it's the best thing ever.
Really?
Have you tried it before?
I've only stepped on a skateboard, and I've almost fallen off every time. But I haven't had an electric one.
All right, so then the next time we meet up after lockdown, I'll bring the boosted. Do you know how much fun it is? It's crazy.
Oh man.
Because you snowboard, right?
Yeah.
So it's a similar experience. You know, I mean, when I snowboard, I feel like there's a bit of a adrenaline rush, the air, and it's just kind of you're going down it's fast slope. It's a similar thing. I don't know, how do you feel when you're snowboarding?
Snowboarding, and I always say this, is the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Nothing compares to snowboarding. You're literally floating on a cloud, gliding in the skies. It's absolutely incredible. And I know we've talked about that quite a bit. We want to go on a snowboarding holiday together. Hopefully when this is all over.
It's insane. Yeah. I mean, I completely agree, man. It's unfortunate. I haven't been able to do it for a while now. It's been a couple of years now. The plan was to make it happen this year. If there was no COVID.
Of course.
The plan was to travel every couple of weeks, take some annual leave here and there. Because when you're working, you can take a couple of days off. If you take a few Fridays, for example, you've got like a long weekend. You take a Friday and a Monday, then you've got 4 days off. It's enough for a trip, for
Definitely.
sure. That was the plan.
Definitely.
But yeah, we'll see once COVID relaxes a bit.
Yeah, I've seen on your channel you've done quite a few like weekend trips to different countries, like in Europe. I think there was one you went to Spain.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely possible to get away in a weekend like that.
It's. I feel like it's crucial as well when you're working. It's because you're working a lot of the time. You've got those weekends and the on calls, the evenings. It can get quite hectic, and just those. You know, just a short, spontaneous. You know, you don't care about how much it costs. You don't care about exactly where you go either. It's like your standards. They drop a bit, but you know, you just decide it's a Thursday. Go on the Friday, head up. It would have been nice, but maybe next year.
Next year. Oh, bless you.
Oh, thanks.
Bless you. I'm gonna have to decrease the audio on that one.
We'll just pull the line down.
Take 2. Coming back from technical difficulties. So we were recently saying, I wanted to ask you, speaking of working, Dr. Anas, what job are you doing right now?
Right now, I'm a fully fledged surgeon. Apparently.
Oh, very nice.
No, I'm on surgery. I'm on general surgery at the moment. I was on respiratory before. Did that for 4 months. And then rotated onto general surgery, and coming to the end of it at the moment. That's what I'm on. Exciting stuff. All the surgery happening. Well, actually, not very much happening.
Do you get to take part at all? Like, are you hands-on in theaters?
Yeah.
Amazing.
The only thing is that it's difficult with with the ward work that you have. So there's obviously
I
a lot
see.
of jobs that you need to do, etc. So any kind of theatre time happens if you're efficient enough. You can get stuff done quick time, then you can head into theatre.
So it's more of an extra thing as opposed to like part of your actual job.
Yeah. So but I've got another general surgery job
Nice.
next year.
F2. Okay.
Yeah, and in that, I think, from what I've heard, you actually get theatre time like timetabled into your
Nice.
rota, which is
Nice.
going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
Is that something you're interested in long term, like surgery instead of medicine?
It's a good question.
We can skip this one. I know it's
we
a
can talk.
nightmare.
We can talk about it for like the next few hours.
Yeah, have you got time?
But I do you know what? I like surgery.
Okay.
I like surgery. I like the practical aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see myself being a surgeon. I think I could become decently good at it. But it's just, I don't know, when you start working, you realize that that deciding on your actual career path becomes it becomes much more complex than just being something that you're interested in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I've started to realize over the last 6 months. So yeah, we're just gonna have to find out later on what decision happens. What are your thoughts?
I'll tell a story that I think explains it adequately. I was in the ICU ward round, like doing a couple of days in ICU for my emergency medicine block, and we were in a room with, the whole staff in the like morning handover, and the consultant turns to me and asks like, "Oh, do you want to do surgery? Do you want to do medicine? Blah blah blah."
Yeah.
And so I explained that I'm really interested in surgery, and I think it's amazing. I think I would be a good fit for it with the hands-on aspect, and I love the idea of having immediate and acute medicine as opposed to something a bit more long-term. But I'm worried that if I decide to go down the surgery path, I'm going to end up dedicating my whole life to surgery. And I don't know if that's what I want for myself long-term. And he turns to me and says, "You just don't want to do medicine. Just say it how it is. Say the truth. You don't want to do medicine. I swear." And
go on.
And I just, I went about explaining like, that's not the case at all. There's a scale of how much time you are going to be physically spending in a hospital and how much time you are going to be dedicating towards your job. And depending on what specialty you choose, surgery, medicine, GP, whatever, there's so much variety. There's so much difference in that physical time spent at a hospital. And so, as much as I love the idea of surgery, I don't know if I love the idea of such a large part of my life revolving around being physically present in the hospital, if that makes sense.
I kind of agree with every bit of that.
Yeah.
Just out of interest. What was that was like during a ward round, like with everyone being there, or how did that work?
Yep. There were like 12 people in the room. Like the thing is, like obviously it was pretty awkward. Like I'm very confident in my like opinion and like what I say and what I mean, and so if there was a misunderstanding there, like I can clear that up quite easily, and I explained it. That there's a scale. It's not an all or nothing type of thing.
Yeah.
And so like it was fine, but it was obviously kind of awkward. Classic consultant putting you on the spot in front of everyone for absolutely no reason.
It's sad that it has to be like that though. That it's an all or nothing thing, because I don't know. I feel like there must be like loads of people out there who could be amazing surgeons, right? Or they probably got like a natural flair for it, or just a medic or whatever, professor in cardiothoracic, right? But just because of the type of just because you have to be there literally all the time.
Yeah.
And so it weeds all of those people out. So it's a tough one.
You have to love it with every bone in your body, like every ounce of your heart has to be in it. You have to be willing to sacrifice a lot of other things to pursue it, which is totally fine. A lot of people feel like that and want to do that, and more power to them. I'm just not sure if I'm one of those people, but I've got time to figure it out. It's all good.
Yeah, you've got time. You've got time.
I've got time. You're an aging
I'm getting
man.
old. I'm getting old here. Do you see the white hairs?
Speaking of hairs, man, you've got some luscious locks growing there. I see you and Mo. You guys growing out your hair like crazy.
Yeah, bro, to be honest, this time it's not out of choice.
That's true.
Where am I gonna get my haircut?
Same, to be honest. My hair's looking not the best. Needs a haircut.
No, but Mo's got he's got the L'Oreal Paris. Have you seen it?
That's facts.
Have you seen the
hair flip?
Have you seen the story? Yeah, bro.
Of course, man.
It's majestic.
It really is. He has a lion's mane. He really does.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, about the work thing. Yeah, I think you just have to. You just critically analyze the whole thing, and you decide by, scaling things up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like? What do you not like?
Yeah.
And what your priorities are. So that's how I see it, to be honest.
As you mentioned, at the risk of discussing this topic for several hours, I want to ask you something different. You've sort of just graduated and started working as a doctor. This is now you will have been working for almost a year soon, or almost a year, right?
Yeah, approaching. So now it's, dude, I've got like 4 months left.
Amazing.
3
quarters.
More like 4, 5. Yeah, 3/4, okay. roughly speaking.
I want to ask you 2 questions. The first of which is, what has been the most rewarding part of the job so far? And the second is, what has been the most challenging?
That's a good question.
I
feel like I'm back in the MMI.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to make it like that.
No,
I'm just genuinely curious.
Yeah, it's interesting. What has been the most? Okay, let's talk about the most rewarding and challenging. I think that they're kind of the same thing, in some sense. So the rewarding aspect has been the. Do you know what I used to? Okay, actually, let's go into this. So the rewarding bit is like when you're as a junior doctor, you're when it comes to your clinical competence, you're still kind of at the bottom of the ladder, right? Although, like, say, yeah, exactly. You're just kind of you're the little chicken, all right, and you're just kind of you're transforming into hopefully something else as you kind of train. But most of your job goal happens in terms of you being on the ward. You see the patients a lot more than all the other staff members, apart from the nurses. The nurses probably see the patients the most. But you're there. You're taking their bloods. You examine them initially when they're unwell. You speak with the family members. So you form it's a really special connection you have with your patients. And I feel like, sometimes, in fact, so after you've done a ward round and it's a really quick one, and the patient might not have caught everything that's happening in the ward round.
Right.
And then you come back, and then you just kind of, even though they might not say it straight away, you kind of realize actually they didn't catch all of it. So you might spend like a short 15 minutes just talking through what the ward round meant, what was decided, what investigations are happening, and what's happening with their care. And it's such a nice thing to see when suddenly when the patient sometimes might not feel that involved in their care, and then now they feel like they're super involved. It feels more patient centered.
Right.
They feel like you're taking care of them, them and their family. So I feel like that aspect has been super rewarding. It's just that the junior doctor patient kind of relationship is a special one, I think.
Yeah, from what you've said, it sounds like because you have a bit more time to spend with the patient, you get to build an actual solid connection and help them understand what's going on around them, what might happen to them in the future, and what's going on right now. Which, like, as a medical student, we don't have the clinical competency to do that very much, but also we don't really spend like that long with a patient. We're not really involved in their care from start to finish in any kind of capacity. It's just sort of like short blips here and there. I think in fact it becomes even more rewarding when
say you've taken some time out to clock the patient when they come in, and then say we're on general surgery, you've clocked them, you know, they're for theaters, maybe they've got some hernia or something, and it needs to be repaired. So you might end up going into the theaters and being part of that operation. Then you go back on the post-take ward round the next day, and then you see the same patient again, and you're like, oh, okay, I was in the operation with an XYZ, and at this point you actually know what's going on. You're competent enough to kind of explain the treatment, what's happened, how it went, what are we going to do next, what kind of foods can you eat? Can you eat solid foods, liquid foods? What is it? Do you get it? That whole thing is super nice. That's nice.
That really reminded me of when I was in high school. I did some work experience, and I got to see a cabbage operation, so a coronary artery bypass graft. And I remember very vividly at the time not knowing at all what's going on, but just thinking what I was seeing was so cool. Like, you know, seeing the heartbeat in someone's chest, seeing their like ribs being cracked open and retracted. It was like incredible, but I just didn't know what was happening. And then recently I got to see the same operation like a couple of weeks ago as a fourth year medical student. And the difference in sort of the understanding of the experience was like night and day. And it made it so much more meaningful for me. And I could actually like follow up with what was going on, obviously to a very basic level compared to, you know, the surgeons and everything. But for me, it was like a huge shift. And it sounds like with what you're saying, you know, that shift from being a medical student where you don't really follow care, you don't really understand what happens after that one interaction, you kind of get to follow it from start to finish. So it takes on a whole new meaning with that patient interaction.
Bro, it's completely different. As a medical student and as a junior doctor, it's night and day. Just because do you know what, that sense of responsibility, I think, adds to the experience. You know, at the end of the day, although you're junior, I think it might be some hay fever coming through. Although you're still junior, but you've got a GMC registration. You're a doctor. You're prescribing.
You're responsible.
You are initially examining. As just that bit just means you're fully involved in the care. You know exactly what's going on. What are the blood test results? What's the CT scan say? You know what's has the family called in the nurses and what have they said? Or you know, you essentially know everything about that care, and that you know, and so that depth of involvement adds to the experience as a doctor. So I'm sure, bro, if you enjoyed it as a medical student, then it'll be you'll like it even more as a doctor, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure. And what you said about responsibility is something that I like. It comes up every couple of weeks when I'm talking to different people, that as a medical student, when I walk to a patient and I talk to them and I do an exam, it's one thing to do all that within the scope of, hi, I'm a medical student and this is all for my learning. And then it's an entirely different thing to have the actual responsibility of, you know, making sure you know what's going on with this patient, picking up those signs, passing on that information to a senior, requesting investigations, looking through the results. And so as a medical student, we're sort of in this extremely privileged position where our level of responsibility is very low and our like opportunity for learning is so high. And I feel like when you become a doctor, that gap really shrinks. Responsibility is high and ability to learn kind of comes down as well, because you don't have as much time to do things. You know, you have tons of jobs to do. You're maybe not in a rush, but you have a lot going on. And so completely different shift. And I'm a bit scared. If I'm honest with you, I think it's going to be a big jump, and I want to ask you like how it was for you and how you dealt with it, if you noticed anything.
I can see what you mean. It's you know what? It's a tough one. I think when you're a student, you I feel like it's normal to be worried about that. It's because you know you're on the wards. And you know that you're not responsible. So sometimes I'm not going to say you cut corners, but it becomes like, okay, you don't actually read up every single result about your patient, right? It's just, you're there as a student, and so, because of that responsibility, you might not be 100% there. But as soon as you start working, bro, you're on
Just
the
all come
bandwagon
together.
bro.
You're on
Bro,
the
you
bandwagon.
you're on it.
There's
All right,
no
a
jumping
week.
off.
The first week. All right, you're walking around. You're shook. You're
Yeah,
scared.
no doubt.
Each prescription. Yeah, it's a paracetamol. Oh, how much shall I write? And your hand shaking.
Double check the BNF.
You're checking. You're checking the LFTs. But after that,
I can't imagine it being any other way. Like the first week, the first 2 weeks, it has to be like that.
Yeah, and then it just kind of, bro, you grow at an exponential rate.
Mm-hmm.
It's
yeah,
crazy.
That's what I've heard as well. So many F1s and F2s will tell me like you will learn everything in your first couple of months as an F1. You will just transform from like medical student to doctor in no time.
In fact, it's probably the first 2 weeks.
Really?
You know, my first day. Do you know what my first day was?
No.
I was on call.
Oh my gosh.
My first day ever,
Oh.
and I was on call. I mean, luckily, the guys that I was working with, our little team. So I was part of the clerking on-call team, which meant that, you know, we worked as.
For anyone listening
5 or
who
6
doesn't
of us.
know what on-call is, do you want to
Yeah.
give a brief explanation?
Yeah, so it's essentially kind of the. Actually, there are different branches of it. So there's an on-call team that goes to see the new patients that come into hospital. So if you're on the medical on-call team, you're responsible for seeing those new patients, treating them initially, and then kind of redirecting them to where they need to be. So if if they have a heart problem, then you'll treat them initially, and then have them transferred to the cardiology ward. Or same thing for if it's an abdominal issue and it's gastroenterology, you transfer them there. That's if you're part of the medical team. So that's what I was doing. And oftentimes the on-call is after hours, on the weekends, etc.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. It wasn't the
Very
normal
first day.
ward-based work. Yeah, very first
exactly.
day. Luckily, bro, I had a great team that like were helping a lot and telling me how to look into the drug charts and writing them up and stuff. But otherwise, man, it was super scary.
Yeah. You know, Anas, like, I have come to this realization that no matter how much medical knowledge I have and no matter how good I am at the practical exams and everything, if I don't understand how to use the computer systems and I don't understand how a patient moves through the hospital and I don't know who to call using what phone on what numbers, then I'm going to be useless. And so I'm trying so hard as a medical student to sort of learn those background logistics type of things, which you would think are not important, but then if okay, let's say you want to order bloods, but then how do you order bloods? Like, you need to go somewhere on the system, you need to click certain buttons and like send things off. And that's what I'm trying to get involved in as much as I can, so that I'm not there first day just flopping around like a fish out of the water.
Bro, it's so difficult because the thing is, you can be at one hospital, they've got one system. Then in 4 months you might be at a different one. Yeah. So do you know what I've learned? I'll tell you a trick. The trick is to find ways of like learn who to ask and kind of figure out who might be the right person who will give you the answer in the quickest way.
Okay.
So say for example there's a specific issue you're worried about, something to do with the system or something, how to order bloods. You might ask your colleagues, and actually, how do you do this? You might ask one of the nurses, etc. But now they might not all necessarily know.
Okay.
So then you quickly learn, okay, the best person to ask for IT-related issues or admin-related issues, ask the ward clerk.
Okay.
They'll know straight away. When it comes to any forms, ask the ward clerk. When it comes to any clinical kind of concerns that you might have, if you're worried, you see one of the registrars, you know that they've been here for a while, bro, just ask them the question, and you know you'll get a quick answer. So I think the skill has been where to find, like how to quickly find out specific answers for wherever you are at that time. So that's
nice.
That's a little
solid
trick.
Solid advice. Maybe we'll come back to medicine and working as a doctor later on, but I wanna talk to you about other aspects of your life, other facets of who Anas is.
Yeah.
And notably, your videos, man. you've been one of the creators that has really pushed me to be more intentional with my vlogs, with my B-roll and my cinematic type of things, because you've just nailed it, I think, man. Your hyperlapses, the sound effects, and your B-roll is just next level. So talk to me, how did you get into videography like that? I know you're big into photography as well. I want to ask you about that too. But how did you start in all this?
That's flattering, man. You know, the reality is, bro, I've just stolen the tricks from other people.
We're all watching some tutorial. We're all watching someone's tutorial.
That's the circle of YouTube. But yeah, I mean, before I started the YouTube channel and everything, I was interested in photography.
Yeah.
So I saw on Instagram there was a bit of a hype around, you know, taking nice photos and stuff. I had some spare time, so I thought, yeah, you know what, YOLO, let's order a camera. So I just ordered a camera, bro. I just walked out with some friends and we took some photos. I started watching some tutorials and it just flew from there.
You've taken some insane photos. And if I remember, I'll put them up on the YouTube video for everyone to see now. But you have some photos of like a plane flying through like a magnifying glass. You've got an orb with like the skyline upside down. I don't remember any others off the top of my head, but like those are incredible. How did you go? Did you like make a plan for shooting those? Did you have like a team with you, or were you just messing about, like hitting the shutter button? Like how did that happen?
Bro, trust me, some of those are like just real flukes.
Really?
You know, like the one with the upside down with the crystal ball, I think it was. One of them, bro, I just started throwing. I was playing around with the crystal ball, and I thought, you know what, I could probably just throw it up and get a quick photo of it while it's in mid-air, so it looks like it's floating. It was literally just a fluke.
I don't see it on your Instagram anymore.
Oh, I think I've cleaned it up a bit. So I've taken a few down.
I noticed this,
but it used to be there.
This now, before the podcast, I went on your Instagram and your TikTok, and I realized you've been cleaning up. What happened?
Oh, bro, I don't know, man. It's I just felt like I was posting a lot of content and stuff. I thought, you know what, let's start focusing on YouTube a bit more.
Okay.
And it was just like that, really. Nothing in particular, no particular reason. I was doing TikTok a while back. I don't know if you remember.
I loved your TikTok videos.
You posted a video. Actually, bro, your first video, I think, was the one that inspired me to start.
The one where I was like dancing in Paris.
Yeah, that's the one. And I think it was like super zoomed in, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So you super zoomed in, yeah. So that's the one. But I thought, you know what, my main focus is YouTube, so let me just double down on that for a while.
Fair.
So yeah, I took down a lot of that.
Fair. I love TikTok as a platform. I think all the dances and all these trends, I think they're so cool, and I wish I could do them. But I'm tall and uncoordinated, and my limbs are very long. I think you can vibe with me on a couple of those things. I don't know how your dancing is, but mine is not great. I think I can learn. I can become better, but it'll take a lot of work. Yeah,
bro, I'm the same.
The same.
I mean, I think I could drop a couple of moves if it was necessary. All right. If money was on the table, bro. If money was on the table. No, but I don't know, man. TikTok is fun. I like to be on it as an app.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I'm just surprised about how funny the stuff is. You know,
it's just genuinely hilarious.
But I don't know. It's not the. I don't know if I could do the same stuff, the same type of comedy. Like I'm not funny like that.
Yeah.
Or same. Even the dances and stuff. So.
Yeah, same. I wish I was good at dancing. I would just post dancing TikToks all day long, man. I think it's so fun. I think it's really cool. But
do you know what, bro? I get the break dancing vibe from you, know.
Break dancing for me.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you ever tried it?
Yeah, I used to be able to do the whirlwind and the worm. Those are my two faves.
Really?
Yeah. But that's it. And then also holding yourself in like strange positions. I don't know what it's called, where you like balance on your hands.
Yeah.
But bro, yeah, those three things. but I haven't done them
think-
since
I
I was
think
like 15 or something. It's been a while. The Valentine's Day disco in high school. That's what I last remember.
It's a throwback.
Long time.
Do you know what that standing, like in the position, like in a weird position,
on your hands, like
I don't know, on your heart. Bro, I think we all used to do that. Even as a kid, I used to try.
It's just like
out.
a thing, right? It's just like a thing boys do when they're young.
Yeah, but it didn't flourish to anything.
Didn't flourish. So Anas, like over the years I've been subscribed to you for like a really long time. I don't remember how many subscribers you had, but something like, I don't know, maybe 5k, 15k, somewhere there. It's been a long time. And over the years I feel like you've branched out and you've done like a bunch of cool things, and I was like, damn, that's a really good idea. So one of which was like TikTok, the other one was like your photography, which was like super impressive. And then at some point you started a like more educational focused YouTube channel, where you were, I think, teaching OSCE related tips, tricks, or work-throughs. And I was having a look at it recently, and the videos were doing very well.
I know.
So yeah, I was wondering, like, are you going to continue that? It's a great idea, and they're very, very informative, very useful. It's called Doctor's Manual on YouTube, for anyone listening.
It's on the agenda. It's on the agenda. It's
a side thing.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be the main thing soon. Hopefully,
thing soon. Yeah. Upgrade.
But yeah, trust. But yeah, it was an idea that we had with a few friends. It was actually something I did before the YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
So we used to do courses. Like interview courses for people trying to get into medicine.
Really?
And then we thought, okay, let's do some OSCE stuff. And then I started a channel. And then I thought, oh, actually, we can make videos out of this. So we made a few videos. But then it's pending right now.
Pending.
But I have some, hopefully some plans for it for the future. Clearly, like, people are watching it. Like,
yeah.
I've had, do you know what's funny, bro? I have like people from Australia. I had someone from Australia. No, they sent me a photo of their lecture slides. I think they were in a lecture like a year ago or something.
And they had your video.
Right, the lecturer had put it as a resource, and they played it in the.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
In the lecture, and I was like, "What the hell?"
That's amazing.
It was just a random video we made.
That's when you know you've done well.
But yeah, no. Hopefully it will come back. It's just about when. It's all a question about when.
Fair enough.
Right now, it's like medicine is taking a lot of time.
Is the focus? Yeah. I remember. Sorry, go ahead.
And I was gonna ask if you've thought about doing anything apart from YouTube, or thought about branching out to other stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I've been thinking a lot about courses recently, or mainly courses, to be honest. But I feel like for me, what I enjoy the most is making these like YouTube videos every week, and they're like on completely different topics, whatever I kind of feel like doing that week. And I'm kind of in this phase where I'm like push and grow on YouTube. And I feel like at some point in the future, I can branch out, and it's never going to be to my detriment that I've gained a larger following in that time. I feel like I've got this momentum going on YouTube. Things are going pretty well, knock wood. And so I'm kind of investing all of my focus and my energy into that for now. And if I'm honest, at the same time, it's about all I can handle. Like one video a week. As much as I talk about productivity and time management and this and that, which I do plenty of, I can pretty much just handle one video a week, like one podcast a week. And then medicine is the priority, and so that's always going to come first. But definitely think about it. It's in the pipeline.
Do you feel like sometimes, so obviously you're making your videos for your channel, and now you're making the podcast videos as well, and now you're editing both at the same time. I kind of know how much time it takes. Do you feel like it ever eats into your kind of medical work, your studying and all of that? How do you feel?
I think that I've got a really good balance going, and there are weeks where one or the other gets sacrificed and sort of I don't know, if I'm like, let's say the first time that I uploaded a video and a podcast, both on Thursday on the same week, I hit export on those videos at like 12:30 in the morning. And then I set an alarm for 4 in the morning to wake up and take those exports and upload them onto YouTube. And then I woke up at like 6 or 7, I don't remember now, to prepare them for the 8:30 a.m. going live. So sometimes like I haven't edited previously in the week because I was busy in the hospital or studying or whatever. And so then, you know, that like night is just like cram for getting things done on time. I think as a whole, I don't think either have suffered. If I need a break, I've taken a break. So for example, in December, January, I felt like I was like too deep in the whole YouTube thing. It was stressing me out a bit. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a step back, focus on my medicine, and then return. Same when I had the USMLE Step 1 exam. I just couldn't balance the two. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a break. Medicine's the priority. Put YouTube on the back burner. So yeah, you know, there's times where one takes more than the other, but overall I feel like they're in good balance.
Yeah, fair. I think probably with what you're doing, it's possible to keep a healthy balance. Like one video a week, and especially if you've got a schedule. Then
that helps for sure. And like this podcast, for example, the reason I do like all the sounds and everything, like I do that live in the recording, so that the post is like extremely minimal workflow. And like, you know, we went through a big checklist before we hit record today, checking we're on the same frame rate. We both clapped for the microphones. So that's all sort of to make my post recording workflow as simple and easy as possible. And that way, that sort of helps with the balance. But I'm not putting myself on a schedule for the podcast so that I can be more chill about it. And so that medicine has enough time for everything that I need there. And then if I've got time, edit the podcast, blah, blah.
Sick. I mean, you've done well, bro.
Thanks, man.
Keeping the schedule, and then you've grown a lot as well. So, do you know what? It's one of those things. I feel like since we've been on a similar journey. It makes me happy to see, you know, other creators as well on YouTube like doing really well. When I see Ali Abdal, like when he hits those milestones, you hit the milestones, it's it's relatable as well. It sometimes feels like you've hit the milestone when someone else hits the same thing.
It's so true.
It's such a nice thing.
It's so true. And I feel like we've got a really good community within this sort of like med school YouTube field. Everyone's really open with each other, you know, helping each other out. I remember when I was like maybe a year and a half ago now, maybe almost 2 years, I reached out to you and I was like, Anas, like, how do you film in the nighttime? Whenever I turn on my camera and it's dark, I just have grainy noise everywhere. How do you not have that? And you sent me like a step-by-step list of ISO, aperture, exposure, blah, blah. And at the time, I didn't know what any of those were. Like, I was barely understanding cameras. So yeah, you were really open. Ali Abdal's always been very helpful as well. Really good community.
Yeah, well, I completely agree. It's that thing as well. Like on YouTube, it doesn't even feel like it's like a competitive environment even. I feel like, you know, it's such an open space that everyone can do really well. And so it's when the community grows, then everyone grows together. So it's I don't know. That's how I've seen it. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like recently, I don't know if YouTube's algorithm is like doing its thing. It's been recommending me like lots of new sort of smaller creators in the med school YouTube space. And so I've been watching so many videos from all these new creators and commenting on their videos, encouraging them and saying, oh, I love this aspect or that aspect or whatever. And yeah, it's just wonderful that everyone sort of knows everyone and it's really encouraging and helpful and everything like that.
Yeah, solid.
Do you find that since you started working as a doctor that it's been really difficult to balance sort of side projects and work at the same time?
Yeah, it's probably been of the more difficult aspects, I think. At first I thought, okay, you know what, maybe I need to start like putting a team together. I didn't get a team together in time. So it's just been, okay, I've still been filming and editing my own videos. So it's difficult, especially when, you know, you're working and it's difficult to switch off straight away. You know, you finish at 5, but really mentally you finish at like 6, or even a bit later. Yeah. So especially if you finish late on a specific day as well. So it's definitely more difficult. But I've been lucky enough that, you know, the channel was it kind of somewhat established before I started working. So I haven't been too concerned about trying to grow or anything. It's just about making videos I like to make, and that's it. If I can make them, I can. If I haven't been able to, then it is what it is. It is what it is.
Still.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. That's definitely one of the things that I'm happy with myself about as time has passed, that I've sort of put less effort, not less effort, but less focus on the growth and analytics aspect of my YouTube channel. I remember being very obsessed with that early on, and really trying to optimize like every single aspect of it, the description, the title, the tags, even the intros, like how I cut the videos and everything, because I feel like you kind of have to at the beginning until you establish your channel and yourself in whatever space you're in. You've got to go like really ham on discovery and distribution, recommendations, algorithm, all of that stuff. So it's obviously it's changed a lot over time, but as long as you're happy when you're making the videos, as long as it doesn't feel like a job, then everything is perfect. It's like blissful for me. If it gets close to that, then it becomes difficult to manage and to balance and to get yourself motivated to do.
100%. I agree.
No further comment.
I mean, there's much to say. That's exactly how I found it as well.
Fair enough. I'm gonna have a look through here and see if there's anything else I wanted to ask you. Oh yes, of course. Anas, you edit using Adobe Premiere Pro.
I do.
Tell me why.
I do. I'm on the enemy
sell
side.
It to me. Tell me why you edit with Adobe. I've tried it a couple of times,
I'm on the dark side.
I have not been able to use it in sort of like a fluid, fast way. I feel like there's extra effort involved.
I see. Okay. So let's see. What is it you find difficult about it?
There's no magnetic timeline. That like bothers me to no end. The fact that like clips don't like click together and shift automatically when you make deletions.
Oh,
does that make sense? I have no idea how to describe it. I think it's called the magnetic timeline.
Fair enough.
I think. And then I found it too complicated. What I love about Apple and what I love about Final Cut is that even though it's a fairly complicated program, you know, Apple's very good at making things really simple and like really easy to understand, fairly intuitive, blah, blah, blah. And I felt like Adobe, for me, maybe I didn't give it enough time, but I felt like it was really complicated and I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Okay, so the thing is, I haven't used Final Cut that much. So I don't actually know. I don't know exactly what I'm missing out. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. But the first thing is that when I was editing photos, I used to use Lightroom and Photoshop anyway. So I'm already in the in the ecosystem, right?
Fair.
And then basically I had a decision to make. I had a Mac anyway. I had a MacBook Pro, like an old one, 2014. And I was deciding whether, okay, my first video, what am I going to edit it on? And it was literally based on which software has the most tutorials. And then also I kind of wanted to use After Effects. So it was with that in mind. So that's essentially how I decided it.
Is After Effects?
It's kind of worked out.
It's worked out well. Like you like the program.
Yeah, 100%. It gives so much control of the edits. Like I make most of the things from scratch.
Yeah, so I've seen that in your stories, man. Is that all in After Effects?
A lot of it is in After Effects. So all the kind of animations, stuff you see coming across the screen, if a photo comes up, it's all like I just make it from. It's not like a plugin that I drag and drop.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Your editing and your transitions, your B-roll, your cinematography is really good. and you make it from scratch, eh? Like all those, what I loved the most was when you're like bringing up a research paper, and you kind of like zoom into the paper, scroll down really, really fast, and then it comes to a halt. It looks amazing. It looks super professional.
I actually saw one of the other creators on YouTube, some guy called Johnny Harris.
Okay. Oh, the Fox journalist.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fantastic. Yeah, I enjoy his content.
Dude, it's hands down probably some of the nicest, most kind of
aesthetically appealing.
There's so much, it's just you gain so much pleasure just from seeing the transition.
His storytelling.
I watched the video just for that.
He's really good.
Yeah. So some of the ideas I just take from there.
Fair enough.
So I see a transition, and then I go on After Effects and think about how can I recreate a similar thing from the tools that I've learned about how to use After Effects. So yeah, but it gives that control. I don't know if Final Cut kind of gives that.
I think Premiere has a lot more control. I feel like with Premiere Pro, when you click a drop-down menu, you're presented with like 20 or 30 options. Whereas Final Cut, you'll never find more than 5. Like even 5, I think is like a bit pushing it. So I did notice that as well, and that's probably what put me off at the beginning. I was like so overwhelmed. So the process of watching something on YouTube in somebody else's video, being like, oh, that's cool, let me Google how to do it, and putting it in your own video. That's kind of how I learned all of editing. Like every single thing I've ever done, every transition, every like effect, whatever, has all been through that. And every now and again, I come across someone's channel, and I'm just like, wow. Like I'm watching their videos and my jaw is on the floor. I'm like, my God, this is so good. And I had that realization a couple of times. Elliot Choi with his hyperlapses when he was first doing those. Yeah. I don't know if you watch videos. I'm wearing his merch right now, actually. Yeah. Shout out Elliot Choi.
Oh, shout out Elliot Choi.
Big shout out. His hyperlapses were insane when I first started watching them. And my most recent event of this is a channel called Zach Hiley. He's a US medical student, and his videos are just like, it's like I'm watching a movie. They're so well made. I love the cinematography, the color grade as well. I'm gonna message him and ask what his color grading settings are, because it just looks amazing. And yeah, so every now and again, you come across someone who's doing something so well, and you're just like, let me learn how to do this. Let me see how I can do this, how I can grow. And yeah, it just sort of spirals from there.
Oh damn! I might have to check out that channel.
No, he's doing amazing things for sure. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's like that on YouTube, isn't it? You just every once in a while, bro, you just see something amazing. Like there are a few other channels. Johnny Harris is one of them. There's another channel in terms of storytelling. His name is, oh man, I don't know how to say his name though properly.
Go for it.
But I'm gonna spell it out.
Just butcher it.
Beau Miles. Bo Miles, I think, maybe. I don't know how to say it.
I haven't heard of it.
But bro,
yeah,
it is some of the most incredible storytelling. This guy makes videos out of anything.
Really?
One of the videos he made was like eating only canned beans for 30 days or something. Something like that. That was the only thing he was eating. Okay. Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah.
And it was such a great video.
Nice. I'll subscribe to it now.
So yeah, so those are some of the great videos I've seen. And then you see it and you're like, okay, wow, like here's something I can take away from. Some learning I could do.
Yeah, definitely.
Develop my videos. So.
That's part of what I really love about YouTube, is that it's genuinely so open. Like anyone listening to this, you can start a YouTube channel very easily. You've got a camera. You can probably download some editing software, iMovie, Final Cut Pro. I forget what the Windows one is, Windows Movie Maker, or like Filmora or something. And you can edit your own videos simply by watching tutorials, watching other people's videos. It's really so open, and everyone can learn it. It takes effort and it takes time. But it's open. There's no like secret. There's no magic bullet or sauce or anything like that.
Bro, YouTube is great. When you think about it, bro, it's an insane platform. Like you have full autonomy of what you put out on there.
Yeah.
When you make the videos, bro, you just make videos on what you're interested in. You don't think about it too much, and you just have full autonomy of the channel and stuff.
So Anas, before we wrap up, I've got a selfish question for you. if you've got one piece of advice for a 4th or 5th year medical student before their transition to becoming an F1 doctor, what can they be doing that would sort of ease that transition or make things easier or smoother?
It's a good question, man.
I'm full of good questions, man.
Yeah.
Full of good questions.
I know. I've seen it. I've seen it in real time. Yeah.
You've experienced it.
Do you know what? Okay, so I'm gonna use the example. Okay, here's a good one. This is some advice that I've been given from someone else.
Okay.
One of the registrars who's almost a consultant now.
Okay.
And he gave me the advice that at whatever level you're at,
mm-hmm.
you should always be working like a step above that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're a first year medical student, you should be, the way you carry yourself on the wards, the way you go and see the patients, the type of interest you take should be like a 3rd year medical student.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a final year medical student, you should move like you're already a junior doctor.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a junior, you should move like you're an SHO.
Mm-hmm.
When you're at the end of your registrar training, then move like, start to think about those decisions that the consultant makes.
Right.
And to hone in a bit of that, like slightly into it. So an example is, I'm not saying to work out of your competency.
Mm-hmm.
So not taking risks and working outside what you're able to do, but it's more about thinking about what type of decisions or what would a person in an SHO position do in this situation that I'm at as an F1.
Mm.
And when you're always working at that step above, you're kind of, it's almost like you're always a step ahead.
Yeah.
You're ahead of the rest of kind of the cohort or your peers, and also you're a bit ahead of the game. So that's what I would say. That's
nice.
Something that's super useful.
Some difficult but solid advice.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best.
Bro, I don't even know if I do that.
We can all try.
But yeah, it's just like the way you see yourself. I think the way you see yourself when you're out there, always see yourself as a step above the level you're at, and then try and work at that level as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some of the examples that he was saying. As the registrar, sometimes if we're on the ward, there's a clinical issue, and he thinks about okay, what's the decision that the consultant would have made at this level.
Mm.
Is it to take him to theatre? Is it to do this? And then almost have all of those decisions predetermined before discussing it.
Mm.
So don't execute on those decisions, but have it all planned out so that okay, this is my thoughts, this is the plan I would put in place, and just get the okay from the consultant or from the reg. Same thing as a student, I would say. So, yeah.
All right. I will take all that on board. Anas, thanks so much for coming on.
No, thank you for having me. It's been so fun, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
We haven't caught up in so long.
I know. It really is just one of those things where like I want to get to know everyone who comes on a bit better, or in your case, catch up with you again. It's been 2 years. 2 years since we had a proper meetup and catch up.
All right, the real thing pending soon. All right,
real snowboarding thing.
IR
soon.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Besides the obvious, please go follow Anas on all his socials. I don't want to get them wrong. Anas, what are they on YouTube and Instagram?
It's anas.noorali on Instagram.
Okay.
Anas Noor Ali on YouTube.
All right, I could have done that.
And yeah.
Anything else? That's it?
That's the main ones, yeah.
All right. Awesome, Anas. Thanks for coming on, and have a great evening.
Thanks. Man. And thanks for watching, everyone else.
Take care, man.
See ya.
Bye.
All right.
Sick.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right,
man.
Bro, that was so sick.